Are you ready to be great? Stop letting self-doubt, insecurity, and fear prevent you from building your business. This morning, wake up to success. Here's John Preston.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Wake Up to Success. Today, we're going to talk about creating a chain reaction that will help your business explode. Now, there's always something we know we need to do more of to be successful. For some of us, it's making phone calls. That's my personal. I have a hard time picking up the phone and calling a potential client because I just don't like that sense of rejection. That's something I struggle with and I need working on. It's different for all of us, but we all have it. We all know that one thing that we need to do more of to be successful. We need to meet more clients. We need to make more social media posts. We need to respond to more comments. We need to send more emails. We need to do more drop-ins. We need to, the list goes on and on. But we all know what it is for our business, what our stumbling block is that prevents us from being successful. So to get past this, I want to borrow a page from Jerry Seinfeld's book. Now, the comedian, early on in his career, he was struggling because he just couldn't make himself spend enough time writing. He knew that if he sat down and focused on writing his material, focused on what was funny, focused on life experiences he could find humor in, that was the key to his success. So one day he came up with an idea. He committed to write for 1 hour per day. And every time he wrote for 1 hour per day, he put a big red X on his calendar. And he had this calendar where it was very visible, where he could see it at all times. And so he would write for an hour, X out that day on the calendar. Next day, he would write for an hour, X out that day on the calendar. Next day, he would write for an hour and X out that day on the calendar. And what would happen is every day he successfully wrote for an hour. And every day he added another red X on that calendar. He became more invested in keeping his string alive. And he wanted to create this giant chain of X's on his calendar. And when he got up to 10 or 15 straight X's, he didn't want the next day to be the day he broke his string. And building that chain became his motivation for doing it. So after he was able to power through 3 or 4 days and put those X's on the calendar, it no longer became about his writing for an hour. It became about continuing the chain. And that became his most powerful motivator. And guess what it did to his career? We all know what it did to his career because we all watched Seinfeld for years. And we know the power he now has in the industry. And it all started by that commitment that created that red X on the page every time he wrote for an hour. So what I would encourage you to do is get a great big wall calendar and stick it on the wall. And find that one thing, and you don't have to look for it, you know what it is, that you need to do more of to be successful. And then set yourself a goal. And every day you meet that goal, put that big X on there. Put it in plain sight where you can't walk through the house or the office without seeing it and be reminded of that chain of X's, because you will find that drives you forward. When you look around and friends of yours ask you about it, tell them exactly what you're doing, because then it even becomes more powerful because you don't want them to know you broke the chain. And what you will find is day after day after day, you stop thinking about the thing you don't like doing and you start thinking about the chain and keeping your streak alive. And then the next thing you know, you're going to look up and have your own TV show. Well, maybe not. Work for Seinfeld. For you, it's just going to be your business is going to explode.